Hello and welcome to Conversations That Connect. We are your hosts Suki and Tayla.
Join us as we explore the IT, digital, accounting and finance recruitment industry and dive into the factors shaping our careers and life.
Get ready for engaging discussions that bridge work, life and really everything in between.
Grab your headphones, sit back and let's explore the connections that drive success.
Wow. So we're 6 months into this year. What?
Wow.
When did that happen?
Honestly, I felt like I've just maybe gone to sleep for a week and we're here.
And then woke up. It feels like yesterday we were like right at the 6th of January. We're on this, we're starting, and now we're on the 27th of June.
I know.
Yeah, wow.
I feel a little delusional.
Yeah, and it feels like this is such a cliche saying it just feels like it goes faster every year. But this year I feel like we blinked and there it's June. It's just
I was literally just telling Jordan the other day, I think it might have been yesterday or the day before, I'm like, it's true. They say when you get older, the years go quicker. And I'm like, how is it? Like it's July in a few days.
Yes. No, it's like, crazy. And then, yeah. My days are flying by if we go by age at this stage.
Honestly, I can't believe it. Like what? But it's been a roller coaster of the last 6 months.
It has.
I'll tell you that.
It's been busy.
It's been completely different to the other years that I've experienced. And I think
we thought we would just ease into January and then take it easy, but things just started happening very, very quickly. And it has been an interesting 6 months. And I think we say it every time. If we do another 6-month review in December of this year, it'll probably be the same. But the market's been pretty interesting. We've had stop, start, and trying to figure out why. I think there's a lot of economical and political reasons that maybe just in terms of confidence in the market, interest rate prices going down and but it's been a lot of, it's not like, okay, here we go, jump on, let's go. It's wait,
it's like you get a little bit of momentum and then it shuts down. And then, I don't think we could have predicted at all what the last 6 months would have looked like.
No.
Not from previous years or, I'm doing the salary guide and it's actually been really interesting because all of the stats have been updated as of May 2025, which is really good because usually we get like the following year's stats.
Yes.
And it's been really interesting to see the year on year stats. I mean, the unemployment rate still is sitting at 4%. That hasn't changed.
Okay.
But we've had a slight increase of the employment to population ratio. So, increase. It was 64.3. It's now it's currently 64.3%. It was sitting at 64.1. So there's a slight increase there. Salaries have gone up from 4.5% to 5.2%. That's an increase.
Okay. It's we've definitely found, I think if I think about the last 6 months, I definitely feel like it's more positive.
Yeah.
There's definitely more positive sentiment in the market. There's definitely a bit more of okay, let's get these projects running. There's definitely been a more positive thought towards momentum and moving. It just hasn't happened like, okay, here we go. But the sentiment has definitely been more positive. We've just gone through our massive contractor renewal, and most of our I think all our contractors have been renewed. The ones that were due for renewal at the end of the financial year, all have been renewed, and that's also saying something positive. That there's work.
Even the ones
the knowledge.
weren't supposed to get the extension, they've now been extended as well.
And correct. And even contractors that we were thinking that their contract finishes in July, they've been extended to the end of the year.
December.
So there's definitely been a bit more positiveness in the market. So does that bode well for the last 6 months of the year? Fingers crossed. Hopefully.
Yeah, I feel like we've definitely seen an increase in contracting the last 6 months versus the permanent roles. I think there's a lot of companies who are stepping into large project work. So contracts has been our main.
Yeah, and I think that's a double.
Jobs we've got.
Two sides to that is the project side's picked up, so there's definitely more. It feels like there's more work on the contracting side, but I also think that more companies are taking the permanent employment internally.
Yes.
And definitely looking at their talent team or a talent team to recruit the permanent side internally, and then outsourcing the contracting side. That's certainly what we've been finding more of in the last 6 months. There's definitely been a little bit more of a shift towards the internal recruitment team.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Any other interesting takeaways from the?
68% of the IT roles in Australia are still remaining in a shortage. A shortage we've known about the shortage for ages. But the interesting thing that I read about is that there's going to be some crossovers there, obviously with talent coming in from overseas.
Yeah, so this is just a little bit more of market info that we're finding with the research for the salary guide.
Yeah, so according to the Tech Council of Australia, last year they said that they needed 600,000 more workers by 2030. This year they're saying we only need an additional 200,000.
Whoa, that's a big change.
Yeah, so I don't know how correct that is, because that's huge. That's like $400,000 400,000 people decrease.
2/3. Yeah, wow.
So I found that really interesting, and definitely the entry level roles aren't necessarily entered. They're higher barriers. So they're saying there's higher entry barriers in software engineering, cybersecurity, and data science, which they've noticed, which is really interesting, because we've had some instances, especially with software development, flipped up the other way. People are wanting more senior, but then they're putting on more junior. So I found that really interesting.
Yep.
And then the other one, to address the domestic talent shortfall, they're doing cross-border partnerships with like the UK and Europe and things like that. Because of that remote work, they're able to employ people overseas to counteract who they need in their team. But also the skilled migration pipelines as well are being actively used. And there's a lot more government-backed initiatives, supposedly, to boost the local STEM and digital education pathways. So that's interesting. I mean, we always knew that there was a skill shortage, and I never think that we'll be on top of it.
No.
But the fact that sitting here 12 months ago, they needed 600,000 and now it's at 200,000.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
That's a huge change. It'll be really interesting to see what the parameters are, if the parameters changed of what they saw as IT, or if it's exactly apples with apples that they're comparing. That
exactly.
Would be really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So job vacancies in tech grew by 2.9% from May this year to May last year.
Okay.
So yeah, the total openings were over 339,000 in tech the last 12 months.
And I think that just confirms the positive sentiment that we've seen, that the market's definitely, there's more positive movement.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe with that, it's not a consistent there's more positivity, but it's
Yeah.
not necessarily, here we go, we're going to recruit 5 people or 12 people or a whole team.
Yeah.
Clients are being more selective. And we've just recently seen that with the recruitment that we've done for a really high level role, that the candidate submitted for that position, the client was extremely picky about who they wanted with what skill set in that position, which, I mean, you should be very specific about what you're looking for, but this was almost an additional. So maybe, like you said, the entry level is becoming a higher standard. So the expectation is more. So, yeah, it's more difficult.
It is. And I think I've noticed that just here on the Sunshine Coast and as being part of the cybersecurity network as well, the people who I'm speaking to in there, most of them are fresh out of uni or they're a couple of years out of uni, and they are doing everything that they can to at least get a look in. And there's hundreds and hundreds of applications, and even they're experiencing, like, how am I supposed to get into an entry-level role when the entry-level roles aren't actually entry-level? You still need 1 to 2 years experience, or even up to 3 years for an entry-level role. So that's crazy. And I guess, how do you learn if you're not given the opportunity either?
I was just thinking that. So maybe that's a change of tact in terms of years ago when I started recruiting, 20 odd years ago, getting into software development, if you did a support, if you had a degree in software development, the natural path was doing support work, and then you started getting the exposure, and I'm wondering if it's a bit of a sidestep to then get into, I don't know, that's a really interesting one to just keep our eyes on as well.
Potentially. And another thing which we kind of knew was happening in the background, there's a lot of roles that are merging into one, like DevSecOps, all of that. So that is a high trend at the moment. Extended reality and spatial computing is also another one, which is very exciting. Quantum computing as well. Also medtech, fintech, they're all on the rise. AI, that's always, I feel like that comes in every single year as a trend. And cyber is another one, which is the same as last year. Cyber and AI were huge. But the rise of those merged jobs is one of the big ones.
Big ones. Yeah. That's really interesting. We did a bit of research on the quantum computing side, Tayla, and I jumped down the black hole, and
the very large
at some
black
point
hole.
I was just like, this is completely above my pay grade. I'm a little bit lost, but it's exciting and scary and fascinating all in the same breath, basically.
I'm excited as to how is it, it's going to be a game changer, and it's going to change the way that we do things completely. But how?
What does that look like?
What? Who? All those questions, I have no idea. And the quantum computing is so huge, and it's a little bit sort of, it's definitely over my head, but just to even fathom it, it's maybe we need to get somebody on to talk about it.
Just to come and talk to us about where it's going, like we had with the AI. I mean, AI is here now. And ChatGPT is part of normal conversation these days, which it wasn't 3 years or maybe even 2 years ago. So I think that's where we're going, and that's what makes for me this area just so amazing. It's because it's constantly changing, constantly evolving. It doesn't stand still, and you can't stand still and expect to be part of the trend. You have to keep up to date with what's happening. So
get on the bandwagon.
I think the next 6 months are going to be exciting. I really think that there's maybe still that bit of a stop start side of it, but definitely more positive than 6 months, the last 6 months of last year.
I think so. I think too, there's just, it's been a funny vibe the last 6 months. I think everyone's been up and down and hit and miss, and I'm looking forward to the end of financial year, that's for sure.
Yes. We spoke about that this week, that we almost feel emotionally exhausted like we usually feel at the end of the year.
Yeah.
We're feeling that in this now in the middle of the year, and I think that's why, that the reason for that is that there's just been so much up and down, stop, start.
Yeah.
A lot happening. So
there's been a lot of like really high highs, and then it's like you get kicked down from those highs because things are supposed to happen and then it doesn't, and then you get kicked down.
Correct.
It's funny because at Easter, how if you took the 3 days, you got 10, everyone was, I'm so ready for this. I need a break. I need this. I'm going away next week for a long weekend to celebrate my nan's 80th. And I feel like I need that. I need the time off. And it was only a couple of months that we had Easter, but I think because it's been so emotionally up and down and mentally, it's like, I feel like I need another break again.
Another break. Correct.
Yeah. And usually it's like we're having those feelings after 12 months. And now it's like, okay, we had them after 4. And now we're having them again after 6 months. So it's like, holy. The resilience of this year already.
Are you telling me that I'm overworking?
No, it might just be me in my head, as I normally am, but
love it.
No, not at all.
We'll be releasing the salary guide probably towards the end of next week, and we'll be sharing that with our market, just so that you can see not just the salaries across the major states, but also just the trends, like Tayla mentioned, what's happening and what the where the market sees things going and how it compares to last year.
Yeah. And I've also got we've got some things in there as well, which hey, how do you meet the current market in terms of how does a business meet the current market, and what can you put in place to be, attract those people better than your competitor? Like what the talent wants this year. It is still very much similar in some cases, but there are, some things that you could probably implement, or, even just being like, are you being honest with with how your business is being perceived to what you actually do? Just that sort of thing, some questions to ask. I think it's got some really exciting points in there. There's some good reading. There's no fluff either. No. It's all very much like, hey, this is going to help you. This is what people are looking for.
Yeah, perfect. And again, hopefully that creates a bit of conversation, or even just in your head, if you think, hey, I need to have a conversation, reach out. That's exactly what we want this to do. Is if you want to have a conversation, you want to understand more, or you want to get ready for the next 6 months, or you're not sure where you should be pitching salaries based on the role, the level of it, the location that you're in, all those parameters. Very happy to have a conversation about that, just to give some guidance.
Even just being creative on the benefits that you give. Like, nobody wants your standard benefits anymore. So just being creative with that, thinking outside the box. This year we've also done all of the states, but I've specifically added in Brisbane and Sunshine Coast as well. So that's been interesting to do. Some roles are higher, some roles are less.
That's interesting.
So we've got a lot more information in it this year, I feel. A lot more like key takeaways, some practical things to implement and to think about.
Yep, and that should be on our website towards the end of next week, beginning of the week after. It'll be there, but we'll send the details out as well.
Yeah, we'll throw it up on LinkedIn when it's up there as well.
And that's us.
Yes.
Let's see what the next 6 months has in store for Montague Group.
Bring on July 1.
Yes.
That's all I'm going to say.
Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Conversations That Connect.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends.
Connect with us on social media at Montague Group on LinkedIn and Facebook. And please feel free to drop us a line with any topics you would like us to discuss, and of course, any questions that you do have.
Until next time, guys, stay curious and stay connected.